kind of producing everything tonight. Welcome into the first show of the fall season as we are wrapping up week one in the area. Had a couple of games last night, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That'll be our first couple of coaches that call in. But just overall, it was a beautiful night for football.
Oh, absolutely. I know, last night I made a trip down to Portsmouth, and it's just, for some reason, it was, the weather was football Friday night, you know what I mean? So it seems like Mother Nature's kind of giving us a hint of what we're looking forward to here in the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, if every week's going to be like this, it'll be a dream.
Absolutely.
Now, last year, week two was just a little different. And then week three, and then I think it's either week 6 or week 7, we had the hurricane. And
Yep.
We covered a game. I was down with Dewey down at Valley. I believe it was one of like 2 games in the area being played last year, and had a 46-yard walk-off field goal in that one. But I think it was a little wind-aided, but still, it's a good kicker down at Valley as well. So, we've got some scores coming in, which we will update more scores as they come in. But for the most part, if you are looking for scores, you can always find them on the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard on our website at sosohio.com. And as always, we thank Low Fiber for providing internet access for tonight's show here in the Southern Ohio Sports Authority studio in downtown Chillicothe. This is my first time hosting this show. I've done Overtime, presented by Perfection One. I'm just going to keep throwing out all of our sponsors.
There you go. There you go. I like it.
Yeah, and Jeff, you did. I think you did a little bit in the winter, but I know you did a lot in the spring.
Yeah, in the spring.
Well.
Got in here a few times, so this will be my first time for doing a little fall stuff. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we've got several coaches lined up, but as always, games are going to end at random times. We've got some coaches that have road games tonight, and hopefully we can hear from them. But just hang tight with us for the most part. And, we're going to look forward to talking to a lot of different area coaches. I think lined up, just kind of looking at our board, we've got coaches from the Cider Valley Conference, Southern Ohio Conference, Mid-State League, and then also the Frontier Athletic Conference, which I'm making sure to say all the conference names so I can remember them.
Got good representation tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it should be an exciting show. Well, maybe I'll temper the exciting, but it should be an informational show.
Yeah, there you go.
With a lot of good stuff for a lot of the players in our area, which is what we try to do here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority. Absolutely. To celebrate as many of the local athletes as possible. Jeff, you've coached for a long time in the area. What's one of the things you like most about coaching in this area, other than it's home,
right? But
at the same time,
well, I just think like you said, in this area, it seems like there's a lot of tight-knit communities. Mm-hmm. Everybody kind of knows everyone. I see you got a lot of support within the leagues. Mm-hmm. And obviously you see teams like taking Ironton last year, and as they get going into playoffs, you see all of Southern Ohio become Ironton fans. You know what I mean? So,
well, and I think from just seeing highlights or seeing Ironton in person, you might have some Missouri fans from watching Sean Terry last year. So, they're a team. They didn't play tonight. They play tomorrow night. Man, they're going to be reloaded. A great coaching staff down there at Ironton, and they have a lot of really, really talented athletes with a lot of big time, looks from outside schools.
Yeah, and I mean, I just glanced at their schedule. I don't even, what is it, like week 3 or 4, I think, before they play a team in Ohio.
Yeah, well, it's normally they start off week 1 with Wheelersburg. That got moved to week 6 this year because I think with the SOC schedule, although I think that might be getting fixed next year when Portsmouth goes into the SOC, but all the teams have like a bye week at random times,
right?
Because you have the 7 teams in the SOC 3, and they bumped it back to week 6. So what was typically a really big week 1 game is going to be a really, really big week 6 game.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
That Wheelersburg team, came on last year, ended up reaching a regional final a year ago. After having 4 losses in the regular season. Hopefully we can talk to Coach Woodard tonight. But a lot of kids back from that team a year ago, so they're a really special team as well. So you were able to get out last night. How was the drive?
Oh, it was nice. Obviously,
was that your first time down at Portsmouth at the
first time watching the game there, and it was nice, great facility right there in downtown Portsmouth. It was nice. Like I said, weather was cooperative. It was a really good night of football.
Yeah, it sounds
I
good.
think we'll probably hear from Coach Hoops. He was probably pretty happy with
Yeah.
his night of football.
Well,
as well.
his defense was just flying around the entire game. That's what I was most impressed with because with Unioto kind of Coach Hoops that they're going to be able to score some points. But man, I think it was when Brock posted the story today. It was like they'd shutouts in like 4 of their last 5 last year, and a really good start.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned even at halftime last night. I don't think Portsmouth they weren't in positive yardage last night at halftime. So.
Yeah, so but they'll get better. They're a well-coached team, and coming off of a couple of really good seasons for them, going to be interesting to see how they adjust to that. We will take we have a coach getting ready to call in just a second, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I believe we'll have Jackson's coach Andy Hall.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
You look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top-quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for
Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. And we actually have a little change up to start. We actually have from Scythaville East head coach Adam Bailey calling in on the Edward Jones coaches hotline. Coach, how you doing tonight? Be with you in just a second. I think this is just how it's go. It's week 1.
Week 1.
Week 1 for everybody.
Week 1, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so just real quick, we are.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to reconnect real quick, and it appears East and Southeastern had a tight game tonight, 14-6.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so looking forward to talking to Coach Bailey about that. And just
good competitive opening game.
Yeah, and that's what you always want.
Is that game at Southeastern?
So there's one score that just came final, Circleville, with a 16-15 win over Warren. They were trailing most of that game, so pretty big
good win for Circleville there.
Yeah, Coach Jay Sherritt, who won at least one state title in Piketon. Yeah. Good debut for him over at Circleville. Yeah, right now working on getting connected real quick, and until then, it's when you drove down to Portsmouth yesterday, what do you think of the just overall setting of that, and what a great night it was?
Yeah, no, in the setting at Portsmouth, I mean, if you haven't watched the game, I know at one point my wife even got her phone out and started just taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And she was like, "Man, this is a really, really nice place down here." So, they do a nice job. The entertaining announcer who kind of threw his own little spin on some things. It was good night.
Had some different music on at different times and different sound effects without being over the top.
Right.
When we were down there's a lot of different crews down there. We had a nice, we had good viewership last night, but you had a lot of different options as well. Will Robinson is. I don't know if you've seen him do the Portsmouth girls on Facebook.
Yeah,
Dude is electric.
Yeah.
If you're just watching a Portsmouth game, he is just a fantastic. He does Facebook Live, and man, he's very good. He's super positive, and that's one of those, one of those local guys. You just like I like seeing him at games.
Yeah.
He's just one of those good people you see, and
brings a lot of energy.
Yeah, you see in different communities that, you mentioned Southeast Ohio. That's one of the special things is you get to meet some of those people like that.
Right.
Yeah, I got to talk to Coach Hughes as well last night to hear about their schedule, and that's
I talk to Coach Hughes quite often, so she actually tried to charge me double, I think, last night going in. So.
Hey, you win a state title, you can do some things.
Set your own rules. With that.
Hey, Coach, sorry, can you hear me now? Okay. No, I think we got it. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Are we good? All right. Welcome in, Coach Adam Bailey, to the. Yeah, once again, I'm going to try to run through this. The Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. Coach Adam Bailey from Sideville East. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
We're doing well. Just overall, I saw the score 14-6. Seems like a pretty competitive game. How did you guys compete tonight?
I thought we did really well. We ended up scoring with about 5 or 6 minutes ago in the fourth quarter, and then we had a couple changes to get stops on fourth down. They got a couple first downs and ran the clock.
Mhm.
But I felt we competed really well. We didn't quit. Real gritty effort from our kids. We got some production from multiple running backs. Lyndon Williams, Tyson Purnell, and Jaden King all ran the ball well for us tonight. Defensively, I thought Dakota Cook, Leon McKinley, and Brayton Bradley played well up front. So, all in all, I think for week one, I felt we competed really well.
Yeah, it's that's what you want most. I would think in a week one setting, you go in, you really compete hard, and you give yourself a chance late in the game. Coach, what is your roster size for the year?
Right now we're dressing 21.
Mm.
We had 2 kids out today, so we have 23. I think 18 of them are juniors or below.
Mm.
So, we're really young. Just for us, it's encouraging at the beginning of the year to keep getting better, to improve week to week.
Yeah, and that's all you can ask for with a young team, especially. Then you guys are at home next week, right, with Alexander?
Yes, we're home next week against Alexander.
All right, that'll be an exciting game for you guys. Hopefully, you guys can get a nice crowd. I know when it was right after I had graduated, Unioto played East a couple of years in a row, and then I was down for a basketball game, and it was a great community event down there a couple years ago when I was down there. So, look forward to following you guys, and hopefully you guys can get on the right side and get things moving in the right direction, because it sounds like you guys started there this week.
Yeah, hopefully we're just going to build from what happened tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, we appreciate you calling in, and we hope to hear from you again here in the future as well.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Coach. Have a good night.
You too.
Well, and then now we have on the Edward Jones Coach's Hotline.
Hello.
Calling in is Coach TJ Carper of the Chillicothe Cavaliers. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good, man. Doing great, brother. How you doing?
Doing well. Sounds like you guys competed pretty well tonight. How did things go up at Bloom with you guys having such a tough first 2 weeks of the season? Was tonight an encouraging effort?
Yeah, man. It was a good game. We fought to the very end, and I'm just so ecstatic with the effort that we got, and just the kids, like their will to, to finish the game. So Bloom's always a tough opponent, does great things, and I'm just so happy about our effort tonight. But just came up a little short. But we'll get back to the drawing board and work hard next week.
Yeah, and that's just it's a program in Bloom that has moved things in the right direction, as you said. It's a very one of the better programs in Central Ohio for sure. Who played well for you guys tonight?
Man, I thought our defense played really well tonight, and then our quarterback just managed the game a lot better than I was expecting. I just thought that going into the game, I didn't know how big of a game it will be for our kids, but all of our skill players, all of our linemen did great. I just thought that the effort was there, and even though we only scored 7 points, I mean we were in range to score 3 or 4 times. Defense gave up a couple of missed tackles, and kids scored a 3 for a touchdown. But you take that away, and it's a 14-6 game. And we're going down 13-6 game, and we're going down to score a touchdown and to win the game. So, but hard fought game by all of our guys.
Well, that's got to be really encouraging coming into a new program. It's a very proud program, obviously, but a couple of tough years in a row. But to be able to get that effort going into week 1, how did you guys score your touchdown and just kind of who played well offensively for you guys since your defense played as well as they did?
Yeah, man. So offensively, I mean, Carte, Ligon Heap had a great game. Andrew Hammond had a great game. I'm not sure of the numbers, but those guys really anchored our offense. And then on that scoring drive, I think we drove about 50 yards, 55 yards to score. Tate Harris came in and our heavy package and ran it in for us. So, but it was good effort offensively.
I saw Tate pitch a couple of times in the spring. Very impressive pitcher as well. So I'm not surprised. He just looks like a really good athlete overall. I know you've got a pretty young team, especially for. I mean, Chillicothe isn't the size that it was school wise, but still a Division III team.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we're starting about 7 or 8 sophomores and juniors, and then a handful of seniors. I think there's 5. Maybe if we start 5 seniors. Yes. So we're still a very young team with a lot of promise, man. So all of our goals are still in front of us.
Yeah, it sounds like a very encouraging start. I know next week obviously doesn't get any easier with London, but man, it sounds like if that effort carries over, it's just more positive things, going into that. And it sounds like you got a lot to build off of as well.
Yeah, we do have a lot to build off of, man. And, going up to London is not going to be easy for us. But if I know one thing about our team, they're going to fight. And they're going to fight to the end. I think that they're starting to buy into what we are preaching, about believing that they're better than what they are, or what they think that they are, and they do have a lot of confidence right now. So going into week 2 next week, I think we'll just continue to get better, man.
Mm-hmm. And just from watching your teams down at Benton County before, I just know the positive energy you guys are going to bring to those kids. It's going to help build that belief as well. So really look forward to seeing how you guys progress throughout the year. And sounds like an encouraging week 1, especially for you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited, man, to get the full season to swing. But I really appreciate you having me on tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you calling in, Coach. We look forward to hearing from you later on in the season as well. So thank you for calling in and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Go Cavs.
All right, we are going to head to a quick break, but make sure you stick around as we will have more coaches calling in just a moment. You are watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health.
Mark, 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
Look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. Next, joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach John Penwell from Paint Valley. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Well, it could be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of saw that with the score. Did you have much positive come out of it? Do you have anything really positive come out of tonight?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives. When we go back to watch film, I've got an echo here, so
yeah, I think we're working on it.
We go back to watch film. I think we'll see our defensively we played pretty solid. Once we got the game started, it took us to catch up to game speed.
Mm-hmm.
But second quarter, we played really well. Third quarter, defensively, we played well. Then as the game wore on and started rolling away a little bit, we found ourselves just steps slow here and there. And then offensively, we felt like we were just a couple steps away from making plays and making good things happen.
Well, Coach, I mean, like you said, week one, you're picking out some of the bright spots. I mean, obviously, you mentioned a few things, and then, you're also going to turn around, look at film, pick out those weaknesses, and work on them, heading into week two.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get our guys ready. They've got great attitudes after the game. We told them, so we're extremely proud of you. You guys keep playing hard, and good things are going to happen.
Yeah, and Paint Valley really, proud community, and losing some really talented players. A lot of kids that are going on and playing at the college level for this year. So that it's tough with a smaller roster and kind of a new philosophy and everything. But overall, did you like the energy level and effort of the kids tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Our kids after the game, I mean, they had their heads up. They're disappointed they lost, and each, a lot of them come up to each coach and it's like, sorry, coach. So we've got this. We're, and all had positive comments. So their attitudes and mindsets in the right place.
And that's the most important thing after a tough, opening week like that, to have those positive, feelings and just being around a lot of those kids. I know the effort is going to be there all the time, but I'm glad to hear that from tonight as well. But, a tough one on the road next week, going on the road to Athens. Did you guys stay fairly healthy going into that one?
Yes. Yeah, we're fairly healthy. I think we got dinged up a little bit, but nothing crucial.
That's a big time positive. I know our guys will be down there for that, streaming that one live. So look forward to seeing you there next week. Have a great rest of your night and have a good film session in the morning. I'm sure those kids will see the little adjustments and buy in, and we'll see some improvements going into week 2.
Oh, we definitely have buy-in. I don't question that with our kids, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and I appreciate all you guys do for the athletes here in Southern Ohio.
We appreciate you, Coach. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Coach.
Yep, we'll talk to you soon.
You too.
And that's one of the things, week 1, you want to have those positive buy-ins no matter what, because not a lot of teams go 10-0.
Right.
So,
right.
You just got to get better throughout the year. Just make sure that if you hang your heads after week 1, it's going to be a long season. But
absolutely, you hit the nail on the head there, John. Like, and again, with football, when you're doing those schedules, you're scheduling 2 and 3 years out. So sometimes you don't know exactly, the level of competition that you're going to really want to schedule. Obviously, Paint Valley traditionally has a pretty tough non-league schedule, and obviously tonight Valley, next week Athens. So a couple tough games for, like you said, a roster that's not real big, new coach, some new faces. So I'm sure they'll get things together and be ready to go next week.
Yeah, and that's hoping to stay healthy throughout. So, we good?
Oh, yes.
All right. Now, joining us on the Edward Jones Coach's Hotline.
Jeff better watch out what questions he asks me on the air now.
We got Coach Andy Hall from Jackson. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Good. Nice to be on.
Yeah, so we appreciate you calling in, and I know this is probably a slightly less stressful time to call because you guys haven't opened yet today. Were you able to get out and see a game, or were you guys still prepping for tomorrow night?
No, we were able to get out and scout a lot of games. Most of our coaches are out tonight. Matter of fact, I'm on the way home right now, so
be safe. We appreciate
get a chance to see some different teams and go from there.
Yeah, Coach. Tomorrow night, what are you looking at tomorrow as far as this matchup you've got going on?
Say that again.
Your matchup tomorrow night. What are you anticipating to see in that matchup?
Well, playing a Division I team like Little Miami, which we've never, played before, a lot of unknowns. They're a team that new coaching staff. So when you look at some of the things they did last year, that all went out the window. Yeah. So, we expect a great performance out of both teams. I know our kids are excited. We've had a great off season, and the summer preparation's been outstanding, and felt like we've done some good things in our 2 scrimmages. But that first game, you just never know. Special teams, the first time is live, and full contact on all participants, including the quarterback. So, I think, turnovers and against special teams are key in week 1. And I know the games that myself and our coaches have watched tonight, turnovers and big plays have been keys in ball games.
Yeah, I was down at a game tonight, and there were fumbles on, I think it was 3 out of 4 plays. It's just hard hits. Sometimes you don't see a lot of those hard hits in the preseason. You can only simulate so much. So I feel like that happens a lot early in the season as well. I have one experience with Little Miami ever. I was coaching down at Wilmington, and they come in with like 40 kids for a JV baseball game. I'm like, this school's bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I'm guessing they will come in with a fairly good sized roster, and as you said, a new coach, a new staff, and it's not like their schedule is a joke. So no matter what their record was, how hard have you guys harped on that to your kids of like, hey, we can't look at their record because who they play, and just the size of the school is going to have them ready.
Well, I think that is a point of emphasis. You look at teams like Anderson, Kings, Winton Woods. We're talking about perennial Division II powerhouses, and Turpin and some of those other guys. It's really good football there in that part of Cincinnati, and they made the phone call last year, and I want to know, if we wanted to play, and so it is going to be a key in the sense that even though their record hasn't been maybe great the last couple of years, but they've got good players. Like I said, they have 2 platoons. They're going to play probably 50 different kids on both sides of the ball, and early on in the year, that could be a problem. So, and conditioning, our kids and being prepared for that, I think has been a key this summer, fighting through this heat. And, but our kids are excited, playing Alumni Stadium on Saturday night. For years we had that rivalry with Wellston, and we always played on Saturday. So nice to kind of rekindle that time in the sense of playing on a Saturday. But we've had a good week of practice. Our kids are excited, like I said, high expectations in this senior class, several kids, 3-year starters. And so they understand what the goals are ahead of us. And we expect a great performance tomorrow night.
Andy, going into week 1, I mean, obviously you've had a couple scrimmages under your belt. Health-wise, everybody, good to go and roster full and everything?
Yeah, we're pretty good. I think in scrimmages, you try to, look at what you want to be able to accomplish and what you want to show. And a lot of times in practices anymore, there's not as much contact, I think, than there was, 10, 15 years ago. So, the scrimmages, the first time your kids are really getting, beat on and delivering those blows. And you wonder how that's going to work out early. But, felt good about the way our kids prepared. And, the Ashland scrimmage is always a really tough physical scrimmage for us each and every year. We started Logan Elm for the first time in a long time last week and scrimmaged them, and it's like we got some good work out of those two scrimmages, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Yep, tomorrow night gets real then.
Yeah, we will have you guys on stream tomorrow night on us. I know you guys have some local guys that do it as well, so looking forward to catching up with them as well and getting to see you guys live in person tomorrow night. So we appreciate you calling in, Coach, and good luck tomorrow night.
Yep, good luck.
Well,
Coach.
thanks very much.
And
excited. It's my 17th season at Jackson, and high expectations, and we're looking forward to a great game, and we're looking forward to having you guys come up. And I know Dan, and Pete, the voice of the Ironmen for close to 40 some years. I know they'll be very hospitable, and should be a good night.
Yeah, I really enjoy, like when we've been down there for basketball, I really enjoy talking to those guys as well. So as you said, just really good people down at Jackson. So looking forward to seeing you guys perform tomorrow night.
I appreciate it. And again, thank you for having me on.
Yep. Thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you soon. Just real quick, just harping on that, tomorrow night, live stream presented by Ohio Health, as always, around 6:45 from Jackson. The Ironmen looking to build off that 9-3 season a year ago. They'll host Division I Little Miami at Alumni Stadium. Join myself, Carson Francis, and as always, Kenneth Hay behind the camera for all the action from the Apple City. Not the only live stream tomorrow, as we will also have a live stream tomorrow afternoon about 12:15 from Adena. We've got a big-time volleyball matchup between South Webster and Adena. The Jeeps taking on the Warriors. Both won a district title last year. The Warriors made it to the Final Four. Two of the best programs in Southeast Ohio. Dewey Daly and Shane Combs will have that matchup. Should be a really good day of
should be a good should be a really good matchup between two really perennial powers. Early in the season I did catch Webster the other night against Unioto, and when you've got some Claxons
Yeah.
in your lineup, you know you're going to be pretty competitive. And I think there's 2 of them right now for Webster, so that'll be a good matchup out of Adena.
Yeah, and you know you've got some really talented kids, and as always with South Webster, just great coaching as well, and for a small school, a lot of buy-in for
Yeah, absolutely.
their athletes. So now calling in, I believe the first time calling in because he's always in your chair on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline, Coach Matt Hoops from Unioto High School. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. I'm really comfortable in this recliner I'm sitting in, not sitting in that chair next to you, John.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, and we forgot a fan tonight, so it's a little warm in here. Not too bad actually. I think Christian was able to control it a little bit, but I know it gets a little toasty in here under these hot lights, trying to make us look better.
It takes a while to get used to. That's for sure.
Yeah. So last night, you guys 42-0 win over Portsmouth. Just a swarming defense the entire night. How good did you feel about your guys' defensive performance last night?
Well, I mean, I think that you can, look to a lot of good things that we were able to do defensively, but I think a lot of that goes back to last year with a lot of the guys that we returned.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it was really that big of a surprise. Anytime you play, you want to play well and get a lot of guys to the football, and we were able to do that again last night.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, obviously, you're going to come out of there with a lot of positives last night. I mean, a lot of kids, got in the game, got their feet wet. Obviously, when you go back and watch film, probably I'm assuming maybe a lot of penalties that you want to clean up before week 2, probably.
Oh yeah, you're 100% right with that. That was absolutely the longest first quarter of any athletic event I've ever been a part of.
48 minutes, if you want to know exactly what it was. I was worried what time I was going to get home.
It was forever. And obviously we want to clean that up, and I think as the game wore on, we did that. We I don't know if we had hardly any penalties after the first quarter, so
yeah. I thought just early that could be
early
that could be a lot of nerves and things as well too.
Yeah, I mean, as much as you try to make that second scrimmage game-like, it's week 1, and we were really clean in our second scrimmage against Miami Trace, and really kind of expected that to happen last night, but it just wasn't the case.
Yeah. So just kind of going to a personal question on this, how happy were you to see, after your son Blake represented the number 1 really well for so many years, that Braden Harshaw just picked it right up with that big time kind of Moss catch there in that second quarter. How impressive was the freshman last night?
Oh, he's been impressive on so many different levels, and it's funny that you say that because when Blake graduated last year, he's like, "Dad, can I tell you, or can I choose who has this number next?" And he mentioned Braden Harshaw, and he just talked kind of about how good of a kid he was off the field,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously how good he is athletically. And for Blake to be on the sidelines last night and be able to watch Braden kind of represent that number and our program the way he did, it was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and I know, Coach, that you do have a nice freshman group, but I was just super impressed with some of your veteran kids. I thought Judah Zikafus was extremely good last night on defense. Yusef Wilson, some of those guys, and can you just kind of talk about those guys and I guess the comfort level it gives you to have guys out there that have got years under their belts.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad you mentioned guys like that because we constantly in the preseason and coming off of last season, you're talking about Isaac Coyne, you're talking about Cody Braden, Jackson Zikafus, David Long, those type of players. But Judah Zikafus, might very well be our very best defensive player. He can do a lot of things for us. He can cover in the pass game, and when you run the football, man, he's like a heat-seeking missile coming off that edge, doing some really good things for us. And Yusef Wilson, we're talking about a kid that's athletic enough to, as a freshman, be an offensive lineman. Last year he played linebacker, running back, and now we've got him down as a defensive tackle. And he does some really good things for us inside there as well.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, somebody was asking me tonight because you always hear Jackson's name, and it was about, I think it might have been Derek, might have been like, did Judah graduate? I'm like, well, they're triplets, so no. But I said you got to watch him play because he just flies around. Because Jackson plays the wide receiver, so you're going to see some more highlight stuff from him. But man, both of those two are just really special players. Just part of a really nice senior class for you. Just can you talk about just kind of the way your offensive line played last night, as well as you guys didn't have the ball a whole lot because you get the running clock, but and your defense got you in a lot of short fields, but it felt like there was just holes all night for whoever was running the ball. A lot of times Cody Braden, but some different guys as well.
Yeah, every year coming in, the offensive line seems like it's a work in progress because those guys really have to be one unit and they all kind of have to function as one. And that takes a while to get used to. We were replacing 3 starters on the offensive line, losing Ben Griffin, Marcel James, and Aiden Pare, and replacing them with the guys that really don't have any Friday night experience, and Glenn Stottridge, Dylan Stanley, and Donzel Newland. And then you bring back 2 seniors in Bryce Jarvis and Landon Caruth, who have done a really good job of leading those guys. But I just think that as the game wore on and the nerves settled down and they realized that they could actually do what we were asking them to do, those guys settled down and kind of really just controlled the rest of the game.
And moving forward next week, you're on the road at Vinton County, correct, Coach?
Yep, go to Vinton County, who I believe was on the road tonight at Waterford. I don't know how they did, but
you didn't want to make that trip to Waterford tonight?
There was
they were flying out of John Glenn. I think you could have caught a flight.
Travel.
You could have caught a flight out of John Glenn to Waterford tonight.
Hey,
no, we're gonna trust film study instead of our actual eyes getting eyes on them. So yeah, we'll take a look at that film this weekend and be ready to go next Friday.
Hey, I'll tell you this: like Waterford's at the very edge of our coverage area, but we had them a couple years ago at Eastern Pike. They had a freshman quarterback and a sophomore halfback. They're brothers. I guarantee you're going to be very impressed with those two as they're juniors and seniors now, because like they're undersized and competed super well against a really good Eastern team and actually won on the road a couple years ago. So that might be a little surprise when you see that film study as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the first thing I look for is see if they're brothers, if they're arguing in the huddle like my 2 kids used to sometimes. But no, looking forward to getting a look at Vinton County on film and seeing what we're up against next week. And you mentioned Waterford. Maybe that was the last team that beat Eastern in the regular season, because I think there's 2 years in a row Eastern's been undefeated, right?
Yeah, and they got a 13-6 win tonight. So Coach Tomlinson's group that's an outstanding program. I think this is the 11th year for them, and he's done a heck of a job. So anytime you can beat them, it just shows that Waterford team is for real, especially with some young guys. But Coach, we appreciate you calling in. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night in that
recliner.
Yeah, nice recliner. Look forward to.
I will.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from you soon and getting you back in here during basketball season.
Yep, can't wait. Look forward to it, guys.
All right, thanks, Coach. Have a good rest of your weekend.
All right, see you.
All right, and real quick, something that I was like all worked up to do. Like we're gonna hammer this scoreboard thing. They had me like updating the scoreboard. Dude, I can't do this. Like this is a lot. So we're gonna take a
not
quick
a one-man job, John.
No, it is not. So we're gonna take a real quick look at the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard for tonight's scores. But as always, you can find all the scores for the area on the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard on our website at sosaohio.com. But real quick, just going through some of the scores in the finals from tonight. First, we had Bloom Carroll 20, Chillicothe 7. Hillsborough with a nice 34-22 win over Western Brown. As seen earlier, called by Carson, Francis, and Shane Combs, Miami Trace with a 42-21 win over Waverly. Zane Trace just came out and really put it on Logan Elm. I thought that was a game that they had a chance to win.
Same.
Whew. By the time I turned it on, it was 28-0 and with like 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
Didn't expect that score for sure.
Yeah, 48-0 win for Zane Trace. As we talked to Coach Adam Bailey from East, as the Tartans, one of the better mascots in our area, fell 14-6 to Southeastern. It's a good win for Southeastern. New coach, new program.
Right.
Getting going in the right direction. Lucasville Valley with a 33-0 win over Paint Valley at Paint Valley. So a good road win there for the Indians. Huntington with a 50-6 win over East Clinton, taking care of the Astros at home. West with an impressive 30-27 win over Fairland. Wheelersburg goes up to Kipp Academy in Columbus and wins 43-8. Rock Hill with a 34-13 win over Menford. Wellston beats Oak Hill 26-14. Eastern Pike, as we just mentioned with Coach Hoops, with a 13-6 win on the road at South Point. Notre Dame with a 26-24 win over Fairfield Christian. That's an interesting situation that we'll talk about at some point with Notre Dame. So really seeing through some adversity with a late coaching change there.
Right.
A good win on the road for Notre Dame. South Gaia with a 54-7 win over Southern tonight. New Lexington 26. Fairfield Union 6. Circleville with a late comeback to beat Warren 16-15. Coach Jay Sherritt's first game there.
Real nice opening win for the Tigers there.
Yeah, that's going to be a long bus trip back for Warren as they led most of the game and ended up falling late. West Jefferson with a 27-20 win over Amanda Clear Creek, as that seemed like a very competitive game throughout. Athens and the 100th meeting between them and Logan win 41-0. Very impressive start there. Nelsonville York with a 34-8 win over Trimble. Waterford with a 50-12 win over Vinton County. Miller with a comeback to beat Alexander 18-15. Miller had a really nice season a year ago. They're one of, I believe, 5 schools in the Southeast that we don't technically cover. Still a nice win for the Falcons. Then Burn Union with a 34-14 win over River Valley. And the last score that we have updated as of now, Russell, Kentucky with a 20-8 win over Coal Grove.
A lot of competitive games there in week one.
Yeah, that's what you want to see in week one. And, overall, if you look at games that were competitive, that ended up not being competitive near the end because of the final score, that's going to bring on our next coach onto the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. We've got Coach Tyler Gullion of the Piketon Red Streaks. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing well. It's kind of a weird Friday night. You're not at a football game.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the same thing, Coach. Probably a little strange for you to already have one game under your belt and everyone else playing on this opening Friday night. So,
yes, just watching scores coming in and checking games and watching them on TV and going out and scouting. It was enjoyable because it was just Friday night football.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 23rd year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you've done a lot of Friday night football. So how nice was it to just be able to just kind of relax on a Friday, even though it is only week one? Is this one of the first times you haven't played? I know the SVC when you were first starting played some Saturday night games, but is this one of your first really open Fridays once the season started?
Yes. COVID, we missed a week, but as far as being relaxed because you've already played your game, we used to play on Saturdays a couple of times, but you didn't really relax because you were thinking about tomorrow's game, So it's kind of been when the alarm clock went off this morning, it wasn't too nice. But as the days went on, it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, I guess the good thing, you didn't go too far down the road, but still, that's still a long night going on the road and then having to come back on Friday. But it seemed like you guys really turned it on in the second half last night, a 42-19 win over Northwest. Obviously, quarterback play was really good last night with Luke played really well. Just overall with Luke, but also who else played really well for you last night?
Yeah, Luke did a nice job. It was a competitive game, which is good. You don't want to go out and just walk over people.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really help you. So yeah, Luke had 271 yards. Shanks had 4 catches, 120 yards. Blanton 4 catches for 69 yards. Rushing, Copas had 5 carries for 82 yards. Luke also ran for 87 yards. Defensively, Connor Daniels had 10 tackles. Trevin Shanks had 9. Their quarterback is good. He's hard to contain. He gets out. He likes to scramble. And they give us some different looks we haven't seen. So I thought our defense adjusted and kind of wore him down that second half.
Just from seeing them last year, do they still have the really good size up front as well?
Yes, they do. They're big.
Yeah.
Big up front, and they get your hands on you. It's a long night.
I was gonna say, and I felt like they were pretty nasty too. So I mean, that's a good opening week game for you guys for sure to just get used to playing a really tough, hard nosed opponent like that to start.
Yes, it is. Like you said, it's kind of we are neighbor schools, so it's a kind of a good rivalry. Defensively, they threw us a little different defense than we usually see. So we kind of struggled with that early, but it was good our kids made some adjustments during the game at halftime. And that comes with having some older kids, some older experience. So that was good to see.
I was going to kind of mention that, you talked about them throwing a little different type of defense at you. It's probably as a coach a little bit more comfortable when you got a kid like Luke, that's got that many games under his belt kind of back there when you are seeing something different that maybe you weren't expecting as well.
Yeah, he's always got the freedom to change plays, whatever he sees. But we also gave him a little more last night, especially at halftime. I say, hey, Luke, you're going to call some at the line. If you see this, we're running this. If we see this, we're going to run this other play. So that's good to have. You can't do that with just anyone.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just so much experience. And being a coach's kid, obviously, and you being a coach's kid as well. So a lot of football in your guys' family, a lot of football games. Just how much fun is it? You've had your sons coming through the program in the last few years. Just how much fun has that been for you as a coach, but also as a father as well?
It's been a blast. I've enjoyed it. Some coaches didn't like to coach their kid. I've got great young men. They've handled it well. I think my dad did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. Once we got home, we were home. So I tried to do that as well. Now, if he brings it up, we'll talk about football, the Bengals, the Buckeyes, and all that. But usually, the team stuff it stays at the locker room.
And what do you got next week in week 2, Coach?
We have the Wellston Rockets.
You guys are at home, right?
We are at home.
Okay, that's.
We got to go over there and watch them a little bit. They're solid, physical team. Typical Wellston. They're going to come at you with some tough physical kids.
Yeah, that'll be you guys home opener. I expect a big crowd down there in Piketon, and I know that's going to be a big revenge game for you guys as well. With so many seniors coming through, how do you guys keep them focused on? Yeah, we want to get a little bit of revenge from last year, but we still got to be focused on this year's game. So you got to kind of put that in the rearview mirror. preparing for this week?
Yes, the new year. Our kids have not forgot from about last year, but still, you can't dwell on that too much. They got different kids, different personnels. Everyone's got a new flavor, so we've got to keep getting better.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck coming up next week and all season as well. But we appreciate you calling in and congratulations on the Week 1 victory.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Coach. We look forward to talking to you soon. All right. And now we are going to take a quick break. But when we come back, you are watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. to the Haynes Total Health Care Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. Joining us now on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Rob Woodard from Wheelersburg High School. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing all right. Bus ride home, man.
I was going to say, you kind of on a long trip on the way home, right, Coach?
We sure do. The game took a little bit than what maybe you planned for, but happy to come away with the W.
Yeah, it's always good to start off with a win. And I guess one of the things, and once I started to doing some of the coverage stuff, was realizing how nice the 823 bypass is. How much are you guys going to appreciate that tonight?
Oh, absolutely. We've been loving that for a while now. 20 minutes off coming down from Columbus.
Yeah, always a good time. So I know you got a lot of seniors coming back this year. Who played well for you guys tonight? A 43-8 win, correct, over Kip Academy?
Yeah, I thought our quarterback did a real good job of managing the game. Missed a couple plays there early on. Good job with spreading the ball around to different receivers, which is what we want to see. Kenyon Evans had some nice catches. Hunter Bivens had some nice catches. And Brady Doss had some nice catches. Elijah Brown ran the ball really effectively. Our guys up front, Ison Emnett and senior Brian Meeker was out this week. We were holding him off a little bit. But the guys did a tremendous job up there up front.
Defensively, Coach, it sounds like you must have had a pretty solid game too. I know, Kip Academy usually has some pretty nice athletes out there on the field, and you guys held them to 8 points, I think. So defensively, is there anyone that kind of stood out for you guys?
Yeah, and going back to offense, but defensively, yeah, we gave up 8 points right there before the half. A couple of times we had a chance to really put them away, missed it, and they were able to score. But just defensively, I thought our linebackers, Luke Coons and Brady Doss, did a tremendous job. Ison ended up front. Gabe Botters had a nice game. Some guys stepped in there. Caleb Shepard on the offensive line, as well as on that defensive line. And then in the secondary, we got so many guys depth that we had back there. Kenyon Evans and Braylon Rucker at the corners, along with Bryson Monovan and Xavier Miller at the corners, backing them up. And then Hunter Henderson and Elijah Brown at the two safeties. Got a sophomore really playing well. Back there in Brew Hansel, a nice big-bodied athlete. But he's learning and getting better. Comes up and tackles really well. But, maybe the story tonight may be old Cooper Heinbach. We hit a 46-yard field goal that was nullified because of that backed us up 5 yards, and then he kicked it again, 51-yard field goal right through the uprights with some room to spare, and then followed up with another field goal at 53 yards.
Whew. Wow.
Yeah.
So he had a heck of a night. I think all were touchbacks except for a couple of kicks that we called early to try to give our guys a chance to get on them. But aside from that, he basically put them out of the back of the end zone, which is just a nice weapon to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just having that weapon, because then where the other team's going to be starting from a lot of the times. You mentioned Cooper. He was a heck of a baseball player as well. But man, I've been following his kicking stuff and very impressive kicker. But a 51 and a 53-yarder. A really nice night for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many times that's happened in Ohio high school. 2 50-yard field goals in the same night. So.
Well, and a 47-yarder that was
that's true.
a penalty, and he had to be backed up. I mean, that was something in itself.
Yeah, but how nice is that to have that weapon to where maybe you don't rely on the 50-yarder all the time, but from 40, you just get to the 25 and you're in scoring range at the very least. So that's got to make you feel pretty good as a coach, right?
Right. Anytime you cross in the 50 or the 40, you're looking to say, hey, we got a shot to try to put 3 points on the board. Cooper's done a nice job. But, it's not just him. It's Gabe Campbell, that's our snapper. Bryson Longfellow, that's our holder. Those three guys do a great job of working together and getting that kick where it needs to be.
Well, and that's perfectly said because you can have as good a kicker as you want, but if the snap isn't there, if the holder can't do it and get it set up properly, you see it on Sundays where if the holder's not very good, disaster can happen. So glad you shouted those guys out as well, Coach.
And so week 2, Coach, you got Cincinnati McNicholas coming to your place, correct?
We do, yep. And that's game 4 of a 4-game series. Currently 2-1. We've been able to win those first 2 games, but last year they took it to us, and we didn't come out and play our best game. We had some guys that were injured in that game early on, but they came out and earned the game last year. So we've got to make sure that we earn the game at home this year.
Well, it looks like, and that's always a really, playing a team from, a Catholic team from down in Cincinnati, especially, you're going to face some really good athletes. So I think that's always a good challenge to start your year with in the early going. And then it doesn't get much easier when you got Jackson in week 3. So just how important is it, obviously with Ironton moving down to week 6 this year, but just how important is it for you guys? You guys make the regional final last year with 4 regular season losses, but how important is it for your guys to see the quality of competition that you guys see? Because I know Kip Academy didn't have a very good record last year, but just looking at their schedule, they were very competitive with some really good teams. But it's got to, mentally prepare your guys as well as physically, correct?
Oh, absolutely. They had some athletes out there tonight. And you mentioned last year's schedule. There were some high-quality teams in Hartley, DeSales, Watterson being the state champion in Division III. And they played some tight games with some of those guys. But our guys came out and played very well tonight. Of course, it was not a clean game by no means. So we got room for improvement, which is great. But with the 12th team playoffs, every game's going to be important. But we just take it one week at a time, focusing on that SOC when we get to the latter half of the year. But right now, it's where we really got to find out what type of team we are. And we did that last year throughout the season, which led us into really knowing what our guys could do this year. And we're trying to build off of that. And we have a good non-conference schedule that's going to hopefully set us up for a good shot at being in a good position for the playoffs.
Yeah, and you mentioned with your league as well, you've got some really, traditionally pretty solid teams in that league, and that Week 10 matchup with West is always a fun one for you guys and the Siders as well. So we will see you guys Week 3 down at Jackson. We'll be having that game on stream, but good luck next week, and we appreciate you calling in on your trip home, and we hope to hear from you again soon.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for the coverage. Go Bird.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, and just that's one of those things. You have really stepped up your non-league schedule as well. Just how important is it, as a coach to have an idea of what you have coming, and then just adjusting your schedule to that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, you see it, you see it with Jackson, you see it with Wheelersburg, is you want to face some teams that when you get to a point, whatever, third round of the playoffs, that it's not going to be such an eye-opener that you're not accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So obviously these teams that have shown a lot of success, they kind of have similarities as far as their scheduling goes. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and now calling in here on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Scott Hurtt from Adena High School. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing okay. It was a nice night, weather-wise.
Yeah, it was a great weather night for sure. Not crazy hot when you get early. I know it ended up 20-0 McLean, correct?
Yeah, we were down 14. Well, 7-0 at half, and then they scored 12 points or 13 points in the third quarter.
Yeah. So anytime you go on the road, it is a bigger school. You guys have played them, often for a while. But how did?
Well, we played them since the 70s.
Yeah, I was just and I know you've shared a lot of coaches as well through. It's definitely nice to have those rivalries. But were you happy with your guys' effort tonight, especially in that first half playing to a tight first half?
Well, I think we figured out pretty early that we had a couple of short yardage situations and we didn't convert them, and that kind of set us back a little bit. But we stayed at it and we're only down to score at halftime and thought we were fine. Got out in the third quarter. They drove down, scored. We fumbled the kickoff. And then got the ball. We stopped them, but then got the ball back, threw an interception. And then we had the ball for 3 plays in the third quarter.
So really just
that kind of set it.
Listening to you, Coach, just it sounds like just maybe a few plays here or there, and that game could have had a different look to it as well.
Well, we could have made it a little bit more interesting. I don't know about different. Their quarterback's pretty unique in what he was able to do. He had 300 yards total offense on himself. So he's an issue.
Yeah, that's going to make life pretty tough for anybody when you've got a quarterback that can make plays like that. Who played well for you guys tonight?
We didn't have a lot of offensive stars. We only had about 110, 120 yards. We had some solid people all the way around, but I don't know if we had any standouts. No, obviously I don't have any defensive stats, but we had a 30-yard. We had 30 yards rushing by our quarterback, and then the rest of them were in the, maybe teens and some places there, but we just we weren't very consistent running the ball at
all. Next week, Coach, looks like you maybe are traveling to Cold Grove. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got a long trip and take on a good team.
Yeah, I know they are. They play in a traditionally tough league, and right along the river, they've got some really tough kids. I know, really tough.
And he does a good job with them too.
Yeah, so you excited to get back in and get in the film room and kind of tweak some things and get things going in a different direction for next week?
Yeah, we'll hit at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning and start making adjustments after that and see what happens Monday through Thursday.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach, for calling in. And we look forward to hearing from you again soon throughout this year as well.
All right. I appreciate you guys doing this.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Bye.
All right. And I just got a stat from Derek. All right.
Sure.
This is from the Waverly and Miami Trace game. Julian Baker, 21 carries, 354 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So if you wondered if, Adam Guthrie and that offensive line was the real deal, you also probably needed to wonder if Julian Baker was the real deal too, because I think they all proved it tonight that, man, that's going to be tough when those guys get going. And Cooper Enix got going early in that game as well. And then Baker had, 2 80-plus yard runs.
Yeah, I mean, watching them in the foundation game and then a little bit tonight, Baker's probably a kid that rushes for 150, 175 every night, but then you throw that offensive line out there in front of him, and we're looking at 200 and 300-yard games. So,
Yeah, at some point, when we're watching the game, we're like, oh man, he's got to be close to 300, and then ends with 354. That's one of those nights, one of those really special nights that you always hope for. Like when you're playing in the backyard, you're not going stat wise, but you're like, Baker with the big run, and
absolutely.
like it's one of those games that you really dream about as a kid. But I'm sure, and moving on to our next coach, probably a week one game that you kind of dream about. Joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Dylan Weirs from Zane Trace High School. Coach, a 48-0 win tonight over Logan Elm. How exciting was that for your guys' group tonight?
Very excited. I'm happy for the fellas. I apologize. Am I supposed to hear myself on this?
I'll have to. I'm not sure. Our engineer Christian said no, so
everything I'm saying is echoing.
Yeah, there may be some echoing, so I'm not sure on that. We've had that with a couple of coaches tonight as well. I think he's working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think he's just kind of saying like, just if you can get through it, if not, we can try this again. But if you want to try to get through it,
I'll do my best.
Yeah, if we understand if you gotta hesitate.
Yeah. So to answer your question, it feels great. The guys were excited. The last 2 years that game hasn't went the way we wanted. So yes, tonight was very exciting.
Obviously offense was on point tonight, Coach. Who were some of your standouts offensively this evening?
Bryce Johnson had over 150 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. And Jaden Higgins had about 100 rushing and 2 touchdowns. And Mason Hartley had our 1 completion for the night for a touchdown.
and that's got to be nice where you've got an athlete like Gunnar McCullough that you can, he can do a lot of different things. But like if you don't even have to throw with him, that's got to be nice too, is just because you've got, that really good offensive line. And then obviously like Bryce, and I saw you guys down at Lucasville, and I thought Jaden looked really, really good in that scrimmage down at Valley.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of reiterate it again. Bryce and Jaden have worked really hard and had a really good offseason. So it's just really nice as a coach to see that, coming to fruition and good things happen on the field for the hard work they put in. Gunnar can run the ball too. Thankfully tonight we just didn't really need to ask him to do it very much.
Yeah, Gunner's one of my favorite athletes in the area to watch just because how hard he competes. And I would think that would be a big positive to have in the backfield. And then if you don't have to use him, it's an even better positive. So obviously defense must have played pretty well tonight as well. So who played well on the defensive side for you guys?
Mason Hartley had 2 interceptions. We had numerous forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. Jaden Higgins had a block punt. Other than that, the defense played very well. To be honest with you, the total yardage on offense doesn't necessarily look right with the amount of points scored. Mm-hmm. A lot of that's because the defense really gave us short fields with turnovers or, good special teams.
Next week, Coach, got Waverly coming to your place. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, that'll be a nice matchup to get because, that's a younger Waverly team as well. But they went out, they looked pretty strong until I don't know if you heard before, Julian Baker had 354 on the ground against them. So, one of those things where, sometimes you lean on things and things go well for you. But, tomorrow getting back in the film room, you guys looking forward to even it might be kind of hard in a 48-0 game, but you looking forward to making some tweaks to make sure that you guys can carry this over into next week?
Yeah, there's always things you can get better at. For a week 1 game, without watching the film yet, I'm pretty pleased with the whole operation and discipline and things like that. We did put the ball on the ground twice in the running game, which we want to avoid at all costs. A couple penalties, but it wasn't too bad. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm sure there's some things that we can look at and get better at.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to have one of those wins in week one. But at the same time, like you said, a couple fumbles, you can always get better. So that's a big positive for you guys moving forward. And I turned on a live stream for you guys, and it was like 4 minutes left in the first quarter. It was 28-0, and I just turned it off because I was like, this this kind of feels like you guys might have it at that point. But yeah, just a really impressive week one win for you guys, and we appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yep. Look forward to hearing from
Thanks,
you again.
Coach. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Yep, you too, Coach. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will have one more look at the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard. Hang with us. You're watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health.
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. Your life just took a dark turn. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. And I know we said we were going to go to the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard, but we actually had a coach call in. So we will go to that in just a minute. But while you listen, if you want to go out and check out the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard, it is on our website at sosohio.com, but we'll go over the scores in just a moment. But joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Todd Gilliland from West. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
So a good opening week win for you guys, beating a Fairland team that always seems to be very competitive no matter what they graduate.
Yeah, they were a team that have caused a lot of issues, honestly, for us over the years. This was almost a repeat of the 23 season where we had a lead until the last second and they score on the last play. And that was kind of the same thing that happened tonight. And we were just able to step it up and make a couple plays at the end of the game. So it was definitely an exciting game, and it was nice to get that monkey off our back.
I'd say, Coach, how are you? Coach Miller here.
Good, doing well.
Hey, so I think if I'm not mistaken, you guys kind of jumped out early tonight. Is that correct? And then,
Yes.
Okay. What was the
we were
score
up,
at halftime?
Up 23-6 at halftime. Scored right before the half. We're playing really well. Kind of had them on their heels. And biggest issue we talked about at halftime was going to be the kickoff. We said that's going to be the most important play of this game, and we let them run it back to about the 3 or 4 yard line. Gave them a short play, and that made it tough on our defense, and it kind of got their momentum back to them, and they were able to build it kind of throughout that second half.
Well, I'm sure you didn't actually feel good about it, but in the back of your head, you got to be like, well, I was right on that, right?
We knew, and our guys knew all week. We talked about special teams, and key plays that would win the game, and we won. Our goal was to win that first 3 minutes of the second half, and Fairland did a good job coming out, getting get the big return, and scored quickly and got some momentum going. And but I'm going to give it to our kids. We've got some really resilient, tough kids, and they found a way and fought until the very end.
And I think the benefit, too, Coach, is here it is week 1, and your kids have already been in one of those tough, hard-nosed games that comes all the way down to the end. You know what I mean? So now you're looking at your schedule, and you've already faced that kind of a situation. So hopefully moving forward, your kids will be comfortable when you're in that the next time.
Yeah, I will say that it was to our advantage tonight a little bit that the last season we played in 4 or 5 games very similar to what happened tonight. But last year we were actually usually on the opposite end where we were the team that was down at halftime and had to battle back. And so, our guys are used to playing in tight games. And so that's a good thing for us, and so they don't panic. They understand that it's a 4-quarter game and it takes every play to win. And, there's a lot of things that tonight that we were really happy with the way we played. And, some things we got to fix. But that's usually a first game. That's what happens. And so, it was the biggest thing is, we came out with a win against a team that I think will give a lot of people some trouble with the things that they do, and they have a really nice quarterback. And so, we're just really excited about, coming out of that game, victorious.
Yeah, you mentioned your kids are resilient and in the tight games. I mean, that when you mentioned the West Side, that just sounds like whenever you compete against teams from West, you're always in for a dogfight, and it's got to be fun to coach kids like that.
Oh, it's awesome to coach these guys because, like you said, you can always count on them that they're going to give you their best effort. That's one thing we don't ever have to coach with our kids is effort, and pushing to be their best. So you may make mistakes from time to time, and that's going to happen. But they're going to be doing it 100 miles an hour and giving it their all. And so, that makes it fun to coach these kids, and it allows them to stay and compete in games that even sometimes that we shouldn't be in. Mm-hmm. And so, that again tonight, we did, like I said before, we just kept fighting and fighting. And even every time that, Fairland would throw a haymaker and score or do something, to kind of knock us back on our heels, our guys regrouped and we were able to, put a drive together or make a big play on defense. And, and that's a good sign for us, for the rest of the season that, we don't panic and that we're willing to, to stay in and fight till the end.
Speaking of the rest of the season, Coach, so it looks like next week you're going to stay right down there along the river, but not quite as a far trip. I think Portsmouth's coming to your place next week. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we have Portsmouth coming up, and we haven't looked at them yet. We as coaches, we were able to go down and watch them play Unioto on Thursday night, but I told our guys tonight that, to enjoy this win, and we'll get started on Portsmouth tomorrow. But, our guys know that, the score of that game was not indicative of Portsmouth's, level of play. They're a much better football team than that. And we're going to have to gear up and be ready to play. They've got a lot of nice, skilled athletes and a big offensive line that can cause a lot of trouble for teams. And so, we know better than to fall for the, that score last night. Unioto is a really good football team, and things just kind of went against Portsmouth. And so, we're going to have to be ready for them and put in a good week of work this week in order to be ready.
Yeah, it's always, and especially, being so close. And I know that's probably a big rivalry game, but you guys put up 30 tonight. Who played well offensively for you guys tonight?
First and foremost, I'm going to say Brody Hall just had a great game for us. In first game of the season for a quarterback to come in. I don't have my stats right here in front of me, but I think we threw for around like 211 yards. And he had 3 touchdown passes, and in some key moments, he was able to hit Braden Atkins, late in the fourth quarter to put us up 10. That gave us that little bit of breathing room. And, so he made some really key throws. And then, I don't know his rushing yards, but made some big runs to move the chains on some quarterback runs later in the second half. And so, Brody had a great game. And, then Anthony Bishop was, his normal self. He popped a 98-yard run for a touchdown. Ended up for, I'm not exactly for sure how many had, but I know he was in that 150 or so range, or maybe even a little bit more than that rushing overall with a team that Fairland was. They were trying to force us to throw the ball. I believe, they were putting 7 and 8 in the box and just trying to muddle up, inside and make us bounce. And Anthony was he did a really good job of sometimes, making something that out of nothing. And so, those two guys played really well, and like I said, Braden Atkins as a receiver. Christian Krasko caught a big touchdown pass for us right before the half that put us up 23-6. So those were some big plays from those guys. And on the defensive side of the ball, you got guys like Tilton Rapp at linebacker. I think he had 15 or 16 tackles, and our defensive line played really well. They each were 5+ tackles for the 3 guys down there, Carson Carver and Austin Ramsey, and let's see here, Zane Pitts. And then you had some other guys rotate in like Eli Myers and Braylon Newman up there as well. And so, we had some guys do some really nice things for us, and so it was a nice team effort. When you feel like we didn't run the ball well, but still rushed for over 200 yards, and threw for over 200 yards. It was a pretty nice balanced night. And, so we feel like there's things we can build on, but, there were a lot of good things that we did.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of those kids, and we did a couple games down there last year, and those are a lot of kids that made big plays for you last year. And really, I know you guys were really run heavy last year, but I thought Brody threw the ball really well the couple times we saw him. So nice to hear him having a really nice opening game of the season for you guys in a big win.
Yeah, he did. He really did a nice job tonight. Last year was his first year as a starter, and really the first year he'd got to play a whole lot of football in a few years because of some injuries and things. And so, our offensive coordinator Stephen Irwin has really worked hard with Brody, in the off season to get him ready to, and get that belief that he can do the things that he did tonight. And he made some really nice throws, putting them in spots where only our guys can catch the ball, and making good reads and good decisions. And so, we're really happy with the way Brody played, and he led the team and just did a really nice job tonight.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So a really good opening week win. Coach, we appreciate you hanging on and calling us so late. So congratulations on the opening win, and good luck next week. And we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
All right. I thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Have a good weekend. All right, and I believe that's going to be our last coach of the night. Is that correct, Christian? Yes. So that's going to be our last coach of the night. So here in just 1 second, I'm updating one final score, and then we're going to hit the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard. Once again, as always, you can find it on sosaohio.com. Tomorrow, once again, we will be streaming 2 more contests. All of our live streams are sponsored by Ohio Health, and we have a bevy of other sponsors as well. So we appreciate everything that they do for us. In the afternoon, we've got one of the big non-conference matchups in volleyball. At 12:15 will be a matchup of the Southwestern Jeeps and the Adena Warriors from Frankfort. Join Dewey Daly and Shane Combs as they'll call a matchup of 2 teams that are returning from district championships a year ago. Adena obviously won a regional as well, so those teams are hungry. You said you saw Webster earlier this week. Really well coached team, and when you say really well coached, you can't say that without mentioning Laura Smith as well. So 2 of the premier volleyball programs in the Southeast, because obviously the kids, but also their coaching staff and their traditions are outstanding as well. And then we'll finish our weekend of 3 games and 3 nights down in the Apple City as the Jackson Ironmen will host the Division I Little Miami Panthers at Alumni Stadium. We will go live about 6:45 on that one. Join myself and Carson Francis along with Kenneth Hay behind the camera on that for all the action for that one. But we're going to finish our week 1 with a look at the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard. Once again, you can always find the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard on our website, sosaohio.com. It'll be updated every night, sometimes faster than others, just because, sometimes we're at
the will of someone else.
Yeah. But, I think we've got all but one of our scores in at this point. So that's a pretty good first week. So, and then obviously we have a couple games tomorrow night. Obviously that Jackson Little Miami game, Ironton plays tomorrow. I believe Eastern and Meigs also play tomorrow. So now taking a look at our scoreboard, Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard. Bloom Carroll with a 20-7 win over Chillicothe. Hillsborough with a 34-22 win over Western Brown. McLean knocks off Adena 20-0. Mechanicsburg with a 28-6 win over Washington Courthouse. Miami Trace, as seen on a large live stream earlier tonight with Shane Combs and Carson Francis behind Julian Baker's 354 yards on the ground. A 42-21 win over Waverly. Westfall with a 37-12 win over Madison Plains, who was a playoff team a year ago. Shane has talked really high about that Westfall team, and we look forward to hearing from them in the future as well. Zane Trace, as Coach Weir said, 48-0 win over Logan Elm. Southeastern with a 14-6 win over East. Lucasville Valley wins the Battle of the Valleys over Paint Valley 33-0. Huntington with an impressive 50-6 win over East Clinton. West with a 30-27 win, as you just heard Coach Gilliland talk about. It sounded like it was a great game over Fairland. Wheelersburg with a 43-8 win over the Kip Academy out of Columbus. Rock Hill with a 34-13 win over Minford. Wellston, 26-14 win over Oak Hill. Eastern Pike with a 13-6 win over South Point. Notre Dame with a 26-24 win over Fairfield Christian. Federal Hawking a 58-26 win over Green. Sims Valley with a 35-0 win over Chesapeake, and that's one of those games where I didn't realize that they're so close in Lawrence County, and it's just one of those until you really get down there. And we got to Chesapeake for a game last year, a beautiful gym, and look forward to getting down there again. But a nice win for Sims Valley to open the season. South Gaia 54-7 win over Southern. Manchester a 12-0 win over Fayetteville. New Lexington 26-6 over Fairfield Union. Circleville with a come from behind 16-15 win over Warren. West Jefferson a 27-20 win over Amanda Clear Creek. Athens a 41-0 win over Logan. Nelsonville York 34, Trimble 8. Waterford with a 50-12 win over Vinton County. Miller a 15 win over Alexander. Berne Union, a 34-14 win over River Valley. Russell, Kentucky, with a 20-8 win over Colegrove. Dawson Bryant, whatever. Like the kids, when you interview them, are like, we call it Colegrove. It's like, yeah. So, and then Boyd County, Kentucky, with a 31-17 win over Sims Valley. So, pretty exciting week one. I feel like we had a lot of coaches call in. We appreciate any coach call in. We look forward to hearing from different coaches each week. But Jeff, do you have fun tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's everything here for this first weekend of football has been super. A lot of competitive games, great weather. Like you said, we got a couple more tomorrow. Tune in to the live stream, tomorrow night at Alumni Stadium, and we'll wrap up week one.
Yeah, it's been a great week one, and as always, just throwing out different things. We've got overtime presented by Perfection One that'll come out on Monday. Me and Shane will have a rundown, and we're gonna try some different things as well. Probably get tired of seeing me in this chair at that point, but then you can look forward to next week. Somebody else will be in this chair, so I don't know who it's going to be, but look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have another great show, but I know we're gonna have a couple more live streams. We got a couple more games next week, Thursday, Friday next week. We'll have a volleyball game next Tuesday. We're trying to get a really big one on the 4th. Hopefully that'll come out soon, but it's going to be a really big non-conference game as well. So trying to get around, see as many teams as possible. As always, you can follow Derek and Brock. They're out most nights. You got Raymond Cleedle that's doing a great job. Photography as well as Austin Hanna is back tonight doing some coverage as well. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We appreciate Christian Spradlin just working the phones all night tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta work on our signals a little bit. There's a couple times, but we appreciate Christian's hard work. It goes without saying, even guys like Jacob Wise, Dewey Daly, who maybe aren't on the show, they're calling different, they're calling different games tonight at different places. And when I say different places, they're at the same place, but still helping us out and making sure that everything runs smoothly.
Yeah,
it's a
team
team
so
effort.
many people. Yeah, team effort.
So we appreciate all of our sponsors. Just kind of going over them one more time. Glow Fiber makes it possible for us to have internet access here in the studio. Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard, and then as always, Haynes Total Healthcare for organizing the show, and then Ohio Health for everything as well. So you got anything else?
I don't think so. We could wrap it up here week one and look forward to everyone. Tune in next week. We're back, and John, you have a good trip to your Colorado
ballpark number 27.
There you go.
Yeah, get to watch the Cubs in Denver. So it should be a fun week. I'm going to be tuning in because I'll be on the plane. So I'm going to pay that $8 for the Southwest Wi-Fi.
We'll try to make it worth your $8.
Have you got the Southwest Wi-Fi before?
Yeah,
it's awful.
Yeah,
like it's not worth $8, but gonna support the team. So as always, I don't know why I said as always. This is week one for us, but for Jeff Miller, Christian Spradlin, you've been watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. I'm John Bruce, wishing you a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.